Download complete. Beginning data transmission. Roswell, New Mexico is a small desert town in the southwestern United States, but it has become ground zero for UFO enthusiasts, conspiracy theorists, and alien lore due to the infamous 1947 Roswell incident. Nearby Roswell Army Airfield was established in 1941 during World War II as a military airfield for the U.S. Army Air Corps and served as a training facility for bomber crews, particularly those flying the B-17 Flying Fortress and B-24 Liberator. It was also home to the 509th Composite Group, the unit responsible for overseeing the first atomic bomb missions during World War II. This made it a highly important base, as it was associated with nuclear weapons and high-security military projects. The following is a timeline of the infamous Roswell crash incident. June 24, 1947, pilot Kenneth Arnold was flying his private plane en route to a business meeting in Yakima, Washington. He was flying at an altitude of around 9,200 feet near Mount Rainier in the Cascade Range when he observed something unusual. Arnold described seeing 9 distinct objects in the sky, which he initially thought were some kind of military aircraft. However, the objects' movements were erratic and unlike any conventional aircraft he had ever seen. The objects were moving at incredible speeds, and they appeared to be skipping across the sky, much like the motion of a saucer skipping across water. The story made headlines across the country, and soon, similar reports of unidentified flying objects began to flood in as the concept of otherworldly beings streaking across the sky in exotic aircraft captured the public's imagination. July 2, 1947, the crash. Late evening, a bright flash in the sky is seen by multiple witnesses across the Roswell, New Mexico area. It is believed that a mysterious object crashed in the desert. Mac Brazel, a local rancher, finds a strange debris field on his ranch, which includes metallic fragments, rubber, and other unidentifiable materials. He doesn't recognize the materials and assumes it's something unusual. Brazel reports the find to the local sheriff, who in turn contacts the Roswell Army Airfield, RAAF. July 7, 1947, military response. Military personnel arrive at the crash site, collecting debris from the wreckage. According to some reports, alien bodies are allegedly found at the crash site, although this part of the story remains heavily disputed. The military begins conducting a cover-up, sealing the area and ensuring no witnesses can speak freely. July 8, 1947, the press release. RAAF issues a public statement regarding the crash, quote, "The many rumors regarding the flying disc became a reality yesterday when the intelligence office of the 509th Bomb Group of the Roswell Army Airfield was fortunate enough to gain possession of a disc through the cooperation of the local rancher. Local newspapers published the story, generating intense public interest. Headlines like RAAF captures flying saucer on ranch in Roswell region hit the newsstands. The news quickly goes national, and the story seems to support the growing interest in UFOs and extraterrestrial life." July 9, 1947, the official reversal. The military quickly retracts the flying disc statement. A new statement is issued, the debris is actually from a weather balloon, and the earlier reports were a mistake. The military showcases a weather balloon to the press, alongside its associated radar equipment. This sudden reversal caused confusion and distrust among the public. The weather balloon explanation was clearly at odds with the initial description, and many people began to suspect that the government was covering up the true nature of the crash. The press is told to move on from the incident, and the story fades from the public eye. Late 1940s to 1950s, the cover-up. Witnesses who were involved in the recovery of the debris are silenced or instructed to stay quiet about what they saw. Military personnel who claim to have seen strange bodies or unidentified materials are either reassigned or told to keep quiet under threat of punishment. The official explanation of the debris being a weather balloon remains the public narrative, but UFO sightings continue to rise across the country, feeding public speculation. 1970s, the resurgence of the Roswell incident. 1978, the incident is reignited by Stanton Friedman, a nuclear physicist and UFO researcher, who interviews Major Jesse Marcel, the military officer who had been the first to examine the wreckage in 1947. As the officer in charge of the wreckage recovery, Marcel was directly involved in managing the evidence. However, he was instructed to downplay what he saw and to tell the public that the debris was just part of a weather balloon project. Major Marcel reveals that the materials he found at the crash site were not from a weather balloon, claiming the metallic materials were unlike anything he'd ever seen. It was lightweight, flexible, and strong at the same time, made of a material that would return to its original shape when bent. Some pieces had strange, hieroglyphic-like markings that Marcel could not identify. Though Marcel himself did not immediately claim to have seen alien bodies, he did later mention that military officials told him they had found bodies in connection with the crash. He was also exposed to reports from other soldiers who claimed to have seen the bodies. Whether or not Marcel's account was 100% accurate, it remains one of the most significant pieces of the Roswell puzzle. For UFO researchers and believers, his conviction and persistence have made him a heroic figure in the search for truth. Witnesses come forward to confirm they had seen strange bodies or additional wreckage. Books, documentaries, and news reports begin to suggest that the government may have been covering up an alien crash. 1994, the official government report. The U.S. Air Force publishes a report, claiming that the debris recovered in Roswell was actually part of Project Mogul, a top-secret program designed to detect Soviet nuclear tests using high-altitude balloons. These balloons were designed to fly at very high altitudes, well above the range of commercial aircraft, and record any sound waves, particularly from nuclear explosions. The materials recovered at Roswell were said to be part of the radar target systems, which were made of metallic foil, and the balloon materials. These could easily account for the strange appearance of the wreckage, like the shiny foil and rubberized materials. Given the sensitivity of nuclear test monitoring, the military would have been unwilling to disclose anything about the project at the time, so the weather balloon story was a quick cover-up. The report also discusses dummies used in parachute experiments, which some suggest may have been mistaken for alien bodies. Skeptics argue that the rapid shifts in government statements, from flying disc to weather balloon, suggest a cover-up, and that Project Mogul was simply a convenient explanation created much later to explain away the strange materials. And despite the fact that nearly 40 years had passed since the crash, the files presented by the U.S. Air Force were heavily redacted, further raising eyebrows of conspiracy enthusiasts. 1997, the 50th anniversary and further confirmation. On the 50th anniversary of the Roswell incident, the U.S. Air Force releases a second report, claiming that the alien bodies seen by witnesses were likely life-sized mannequins used in parachute tests. Despite the official reports, the belief in an alien crash and subsequent government cover-up persists in UFO communities. In 1997, the Roswell UFO Museum opens in the town of Roswell, and UFO festivals become annual events, attracting thousands of visitors every year. The Roswell incident remains one of the most famous UFO-related events in history, despite various explanations. Documentaries, books, and movies continue to fuel the fascination with the event, with the belief that there's more to the story than what was revealed. Various conspiracy theorists, former military personnel, and eyewitnesses continue to claim that the Roswell crash involved extraterrestrial beings, with evidence still being suppressed by the U.S. government. Roswell UFO festivals are held annually, where enthusiasts gather to celebrate the legacy of the event and advocate for full disclosure on UFOs. 2020s, the government finally acknowledges UFOs. In recent years, the U.S. government has acknowledged the existence of UFOs, referred to as UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomena. In 2020, the Department of Defense declassified several military videos showing strange aerial objects. Some see this as a sign that the government is slowly moving toward full disclosure about UFOs, and the Roswell incident remains a central part of the debate about what's really out there. The legacy of Roswell. The Roswell incident continues to inspire speculation, debate, and popular culture. Movies, TV shows, and novels frequently draw from the story of the Roswell UFO crash, and the town of Roswell has become a mecca for UFO enthusiasts. The mystery remains unresolved, and questions about what really happened in 1947 are still being asked to this day. End data transmission.